Welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're really going deep, exploring an audio diary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one person's account of going through some really tough times. And I gotta say, the honesty, in their words, it's pretty powerful stuff.
You know, it really is. This journey, it gives us a glimpse into how our mental and physical health are tied together and the impact trauma can have. It's like a thread woven throughout their story, not to mention the struggles they face just trying to find support.
Right from the start, you can hear revisiting their past through writing. It brought up so many painful memories.
Yeah.
Like it opened old wounds they were trying to heal.
It's a good reminder. Storytelling, as therapeutic as it can be really triggering too. There's a part where they say, I'm crying like I've never cried before.
Wow.
The emotional weight of it all, you can just feel it.
And on top of that emotional weight, they were dealing with constant noise from their neighbors.
Oh, gosh.
Ticking, screaming, even coughing that sounded like it was directed at their window.
It sounds awful.
It does. Honestly, it sounds like a total nightmare.
It really makes you think about those external stressors, especially the ones we can't control,
Yeah,
and how deeply they can affect us.
both mentally and physically.
Exactly. This person was experiencing chest pain, panic attacks, and really bad anxiety just from the constant noise.
To try and cope, they were wearing sound-isolating earmuffs and headphones all the time.
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine how exhausting that must have been?
Absolutely. It goes to show that our mind and body, they're not separate. They constantly affect each other. The stress hormones from all that noise
Yeah,
probably contributed to those physical symptoms they were feeling.
it makes sense. So they decided to move, hoping for a fresh start. But it's heartbreaking to hear that in those first few days in the new apartment, they were so desperate for peace that they considered suicide.
The level of despair it's striking. They talked about struggling to do even basic things like leaving to get food.
Oh,
It paints a very clear picture of how debilitating mental health challenges can be.
it's like their nervous system was stuck in a fight or flight mode, constantly on edge.
Right.
Sadly, the move didn't bring the relief they hoped for.
Nope.
More noise, more panic attacks at the new place, and they even experienced psychotic breaks.
It's interesting how this noise keeps coming up.
Yeah,
It's more than just being annoying. It becomes the symbol of their struggle for peace and stability.
right.
They're searching for that safe space, both physically and mentally, but it feels like the world keeps intruding.
There's this line in the diary where they say, the walls feel like they're closing in.
Wow.
It really captures that feeling of being trapped and overwhelmed.
It does.
They did find some temporary relief through things like Wim Hof breathing and working on a new story, but it sounds like it was a constant battle.
It really shows their resilience and their desire to find ways to cope,
Yeah.
even when faced with so much adversity.
But then they mentioned reaching out to the Garcine Center for help, and that's where the story takes a really unsettling turn.
What happened?
Well, they shared that the noise was making them feel like they wanted to hurt someone.
Oh, no.
And the person on the other end of the line actually asked if they'd considered assisted suicide.
That's a deeply troubling response.
I know.
It highlights how sometimes even the systems that are meant to help us
Yeah.
can fail so dramatically.
Right.
Instead of offering help and resources, they were presented with another way out. It's horrifying.
Especially given their state of mind at the time.
Exactly.
It really emphasizes how important it is to advocate for yourself and to seek out support from different places.
I agree.
You can't always count on those systems to be there for you in the way that you need.
Absolutely. This story unfortunately illustrates that those systems can sometimes cause more harm than good.
On top of that, they were dealing with ongoing noise complaints, interactions with security workers, but nothing was resolved. And as if that wasn't enough, their family was fleeing war in their home country,
Oh my God.
adding another layer of stress and worry.
It's a reminder of how these stressors can pile up, creating this overwhelming sense of pressure. It was like they were being hit from all sides.
It sounds like they were desperately searching for some way to find peace,
They were.
internally and externally.
And that search led them to explore some unconventional approaches to healing, something we'll delve into more in the next part of our deep dive. Picking up where we left off, this person was really looking for ways to cope with all that stress and trauma.
Yeah, it's almost as if they were trying to grab onto anything that could offer them a moment of relief,
Right.
a glimmer of hope.
And for them, one of those things turned out to be plant medicine.
They describe a pretty intense experience that seemed to bring some emotional release and a change in perspective.
It's fascinating how people find different paths to healing, you know?
Yeah.
For this person, plant medicine, it seemed to give them a way to access and process those deep emotions.
They talk about this feeling of letting go and a sense of peace they hadn't felt in a long time.
Wow.
They also started using positive affirmations
Okay.
to counteract those intrusive thoughts they were having.
It sounds like they were constantly battling negativity and self-doubt.
It really does.
It's a testament to their strength, though, that they were actively trying to change their thought patterns. They even say in the diary, "I refuse to let these negative thoughts control me."
It's powerful.
It is.
That kind of conscious effort to change your mindset.
It's like they were fighting on multiple fronts.
Right.
Trying to manage the external things, deal with the emotional fallout, and find ways to reclaim their own mind.
And we can't forget they were doing all of this while dealing with very real physical effects of all that stress.
Absolutely. They described debilitating pain under their shoulder blade, almost like a stabbing feeling.
And the insomnia was relentless.
They mentioned trying everything to sleep, noise-canceling headphones, brown noise, different positions.
Nothing worked.
Wow. Their body was in a constant state of overdrive.
This lack of sleep would take a toll on anyone.
Oh, definitely. Impaired thinking, weakened immune system, higher risk of chronic diseases even.
They even tried medications. Fluoxetine, testosterone gel, hoping for some relief, but they couldn't handle them.
Oh, no.
They experienced severe vomiting.
This highlights the challenges of finding the right treatment.
For sure.
It's often trial and error, and not every medication is going to work for everyone.
And the noise, that constant torment, never went away.
It's like it became this force in their life.
They even started calling it ghosts.
Ghosts.
Yeah, as if it were something supernatural haunting them.
That's powerful imagery.
I know, right?
I think it speaks to the trauma they were experiencing.
Yeah.
Like, the noise had taken over their mind. It was beyond their control.
You mentioned before how noise can symbolize that struggle for peace and stability.
Right.
But here it feels deeper, like a loss of control, a violation of their space.
They were constantly on edge, never able to relax or feel safe.
It makes you wonder about the long-term effects of living like that.
It does.
It shows how important it is to have a safe and peaceful place to call home.
Absolutely. Everyone deserves that.
They were so desperate for silence that they started playing loud sounds themselves, trying to drown out the ghosts.
It's like fighting fire with fire.
They were fighting back, refusing to give up.
Even in those dark moments, they were looking for ways to cope, to regain some control.
Through it all, they were carrying the weight of their niece's health problems, too.
Oh, gosh.
She was battling diabetes, and you can hear the worry in their voice when they talk about her.
It's beautiful, their empathy and compassion, even while dealing with so much themselves.
They were really at their wits' end. They even sought out hypnotherapy,
Okay.
hoping it could help with the stress and anxiety, but even that led to disappointment.
What happened?
The hypnotherapist didn't show up for their appointment.
Oh, no.
It feels like every avenue they tried, every bit of hope, just slipped away.
It's heartbreaking to hear about their attempts to find support and all those obstacles.
It's a reminder that even with good intentions, systems and individuals can fail us.
Right.
And sometimes that feels like the last straw when you're already struggling.
But even with all of this, they found a way to tap into their own strength.
They started generating their own positive affirmations, listening to them every night.
It's like they created their own lifeline, their own source of hope.
It reminds me of that saying, you have to be your own hero sometimes.
Exactly. They were choosing to focus on good things, even when surrounded by negativity.
It sounds like those affirmations really helped.
Yeah.
They say it allowed them to stop thinking about harming themselves or others.
Wow, they were taking back control of their mind.
It speaks to the power of self-compassion, choosing how we react to tough situations.
Even in despair, they were searching for ways to heal and grow. That's inspiring.
But their journey wasn't over. They were still facing the same challenges.
The noise, the pain, the worry for their niece.
They were only 32,
So young.
and it felt like they'd been carrying the weight of the world for too long.
It reminds us that recovery isn't always a straight line. There are setbacks, moments of despair, times when you feel like you're going backwards.
They were still searching, hoping, fighting for a better future,
And that brings us to the final part of their story.
where we'll see how they navigate seeking help and finding peace amidst those ongoing struggles.
Entering this final chapter, it's clear they were still in a lot of pain, physically and emotionally.
It's tough to hear. But even with all that, they never stopped looking for help.
It's amazing, that resilience.
Even when things didn't work out, they kept reaching out, hoping for something better.
They were going through a complicated system, feeling misunderstood at times, but they never gave up.
They knew they deserved support, and they were determined to find it.
Exactly.
And that led them to CMH,
The Center for Addiction and Mental Health.
a place that holds so much hope for people struggling with mental health. But as we heard, even that experience was difficult.
Yeah, it wasn't a quick fix. They talk about feeling anxious, having their things taken away.
And the psychiatrist, well, those conversations left them feeling confused.
Like they weren't being heard.
There's a point where they say, I just need someone to listen, to understand what I'm going through.
That's so important.
I remember that part about the psychiatrist asking about past surgeries.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, why does it matter? My mental state right now, that's what's important.
It shows how we sometimes make assumptions in healthcare.
Right.
We need to see the whole person, understanding that their physical, mental, and emotional experiences, they're all connected.
They literally say, my body is just a vessel. It's my mind that's screaming for help.
Wow.
And sadly, despite all their efforts, they were discharged, sent home, still carrying all that pain and worry.
This part of the story is hard to hear.
It is.
It shows the gaps in our mental health care system.
While there are amazing people doing great work, we need more resources, more understanding.
A real commitment to patient-centered care.
This story brings up so many important questions.
It does.
We've talked about trauma, the struggle to find support, coping with overwhelming stress.
But what does it all mean? What can we take away from this journey?
Well, one of the biggest things is how connected our mental and physical health truly are.
This person's story really proves that they are inseparable.
Stress, trauma, even something like noise can show up in physical ways.
We need to think about well-being in a holistic way, caring for our minds and bodies as one.
And their story also highlights the impact of trauma.
How it can shape everything. Thoughts, emotions, behaviors, even our physical health.
We need to be more aware of how common trauma is and how it affects people.
It's a call for more empathy, recognizing that people are often carrying those invisible wounds.
Finally, I think this is a story about resilience.
Despite facing so much, they never lost hope.
They kept looking for help, trying new things, fighting for their well-being.
That's inspiring for anyone struggling.
There's always hope, even when things are tough.
And we all have the strength inside to keep going, even when it feels impossible.
Their story shows that we all have a part to play in creating a more compassionate world.
Whether it's advocating for better mental health services, being more empathetic, just listening to someone who's struggling.
We can all make a difference.
Absolutely.
So as we finish up this deep dive, I'm left thinking about this. This person's journey, while personal, it speaks to everyone about suffering, resilience, and wanting to heal. What can we learn from their experience about our own potential for growth and change, even when things are hard?